When you configure some changes in Google Tag Manager, do not publish them immediately. First, you must test those changes and make sure that everything is working properly. In this video, I will explain how to work with GTM's preview and debug mode. There are many things to learn and many mistakes to avoid, so make sure that you watch this video till the end. So when you have some changes in the container and you want to test them, you should click Preview at the top right corner of Google Tag Manager interface. Click it, and then a new tab will appear in your browser. Here you should enter the URL where you want to test your changes. When you enter the URL, click Connect. This will open a new tab or a new window in your browser where you will be able to test your changes. Click Connect. And this, as you can see, opened a new window. Here is the parameter that was added by Google Tag Manager, and you see that the Tag Assistant is connected. However, personally, I don't like working with this separate window. That is why I recommended to install a Chrome extension called Tag Assistant Companion. I will post a link to it below the video. So click that link, click install, and then add this extension to your browser. After you do that, close the previously opened window, and then close the preview mode tab and start the preview mode once again. Click preview. By the way, it is recommended to use Google Chrome while working with the preview mode of Google Tag Manager because personally, I found this to be most convenient. So once you enter the URL, click Connect, and this time the website will be opened in the new tab instead of a new window. Once you see that Tag Assistant is connected here and it is connected here, it means that the preview mode has been activated properly. If it doesn't work for you, there might be various reasons for that. That's why, if this is your case, then check the description of this video where I will post a link to the blog post where I explain various reasons and ways how to fix your preview and debug mode. So the first thing that you might notice is this icon. Sometimes it might be blue, sometimes it might be red, yellow, or whatever. For now, I will just tell you that this icon pretty much means nothing, except one thing that I will later explain in this video. But if you see a red circle here or here, there is nothing wrong with it, so don't panic. As you navigate the website where this icon is displayed right here, which means that this tab is connected to the preview mode, when you navigate from one page to another, for example, you will see those page loading events right here as well. We have container loaded, so container loaded means that the page loaded and Google Tag Manager container loaded with it. Then we have window loaded. It means that all related resources such as images, scripts, and so on, they have also loaded on a website. And then we have DOM ready, which means that elements on a website have been rendered. And if you do some advanced stuff that tries to read the content of certain links or widgets or something like that, then you can start using them from DOM ready event and forward. The interface of Google Tag Manager preview mode consists of mainly three parts. So we have a header right here where you can see containers that are available and active on your website. Then we have the left sidebar, which is stream of various events that are happening on your website, and Google Tag Manager was able to identify them. And then we have the main part right here where we see what was added to a thing called data layer. This is a bit more advanced, so I will try not to overwhelm you with this concept yet. But basically, if something is recognized by Google Tag Manager, that something is available in the data layer. And then here you can see what tags fired when, what variables, and what their values were at certain points, and so on. So in my test container, I have one tag, which is Google Analytics 4 configuration tag. It is set to fire on all pages. And in the context of the preview mode of Google Tag Manager, all pages means all container loaded events. So if I click on container loaded and go to tags, I will see that my configuration tag fired. In fact, I can jump between these events and then you will see the tag status. Did it fire or did it not? So for example, on consent initialization, the tag did not fire. The same happened on initialization, then the tag fired, and then on other events, the tag did not fire. Events on the left sidebar are grouped into pages. So this one right here, where you see the icon and then the page title, this is kind of like the name of the page and all events that happened on that particular page load. So if you want, you can collapse this, and then we can see that on this page, there were 6 events that were recognized by Google Tag Manager, and then here we have 7. Now let's quickly talk about this icon right here. This is available because I installed Tag Assistant Companion, and it's the same icon that is visible right here. Now, why this is useful? Maybe you're testing multiple tabs at the same time. For example, if I hold Control key on my keyboard and click on this link, a new tab will open, and this icon will be different. It is randomly picked, and this time it's a green icon. So now I have 2 tabs open. One is this blue icon, and here we have a green icon. Consequently, I see those different icons right here. So the main reason why I have different icons here is to quickly understand which tab is related to which page right here. So this is related to the blue icon, so it means these 2 page views right here, because that was still the same tab in the browser, but that second tab is green, and then it is displayed right here. If I add one more tab, its icon will be something else. Here's the yellow icon, so that yellow icon is also visible right here. So this is just a little convenience to help you work faster with the preview mode. Let me quickly add one event tag that will send an event to Google Analytics 4 when any of these menu links is clicked. So I will do the right click quickly, click inspect, and then I see that the class is site nav link. So I will copy this, and then I go to triggers in Google Tag Manager, new, trigger configuration, and then just links. Then I will say that I want to track those link clicks where the built-in variable called click classes contains site nav link. And then I will name this trigger link click menu link, and I will click save. Then I will go to tags, click new, tag configuration, and then I will send an event when that menu link click occurs. So I will select my Google Analytics 4 configuration tag that I already had in the container, and then the event name can be something like menu click. And with event parameters, I will send the link URL, which is the link of these menu items, and that can be done by adding a built-in variable, so the built-ins, and then select click URL, and then I will also send the link text, which will return the text of the link, like home, catalog, blog, and so on. And for that, we have another variable, which is also in the list of built-in variables, and that is click text. Now I will fire this tag when the link click menu link trigger is activated. And finally, I will name this tag menu click, and that's it. So now let's test how this tag will be displayed in the preview mode of Google Tag Manager. I will click preview, and I do that every time I change something in the container. When you click the preview button right here, it starts the preview mode from scratch, and then it fetches the latest updates from your Google Tag Manager container. So always click preview to refresh the preview and debug mode. Let me close these unwanted tabs. I will have just one here, and then I will click first, let's say this link, which is not a menu link. I will click this, and then I will click, let's say this, this, and this. Now let's go to Google Tag Assistant. We have a bunch of events right here. Some of them are related to link clicks, some of them are related to scrolls. So let's check them. Let's click the first link click on the first page view. And I see that my menu click event did not fire. What is very cool about Google Tag Manager preview mode is that when I have selected that event, I can click the tag, which hasn't fired, and then I can find out why that particular tag did not fire. So for example, in this case, I see that event was this, which means the link click. And in my case, the trigger was also link click, because in Google Tag Manager, the link click trigger is looking obviously for link clicks. So the requirement means the actual event where I am checking this. Ignore this part. This is some technical internal stuff of Google Tag Manager. You don't worry about that, but something is weird here. First of all, we see that something, which is empty space, it contains site nav link. Well, this doesn't look very readable at first until you get used to that. So what I would recommend is that when you select the event here and you click on the tag, first try to switch from values to names. Now you can see the variables that are being used in the tag. So these two are technicals. They start with the underscore, so you kinda can ignore this one. But basically this trigger says that the tag will fire if event is link click, which means this one, and click classes contains site nav link. So if these conditions are met, then the trigger will be activated and the tag will fire. However, this condition was not met because this shows a red X. Then when you switch from names of variables to values, you can see what is the current value of that variable. So click classes is empty. That link that I clicked at the bottom, which is search, it doesn't have any click classes. So empty does not contain this value. That is why this trigger was not fired. Now let's check another link click. So I click here, I'm on another page, I click the link, then I see that the tag has fired. Now let's check why that happened. I click the tag, I see the status, which is fired, and then I can check what is happening. Here I see that all three conditions of the trigger have been met. So this one is technical, this one is related to the trigger type, and then everything else is related to the conditions that you list right here. So our condition is click classes must contain this value. And if I go to the preview mode, and while I have selected values, I see that the current value of click classes contains this, because this one is here. Since all three conditions have been met, this trigger was activated and this tag was fired. And also here, when you have switched to values, you can see what were the values that were sent to Google Analytics for. If I switch to names, I can see that I am sending link URL parameter and the value of this variable. And also I am sending this parameter with this particular variable. Now, if I want to see what were the values of these variables, I can just switch to values, and here they are. The link URL parameter's value is this one, and this parameter's value is this one, because these two were dynamically taken from the actual URL that was clicked. If you are working with Google Analytics 4, there are some confusing things that affect Google Tag Manager Preview and Debug mode. Let me show you. So if I want to clear this entire stream, I can just click this icon, and then I can click a link, for example, this one. I clicked the link once, but I see two link clicks right here. Why is that? This is happening because Google Analytics 4 also has some link click tracking capabilities, and those capabilities are sometimes visible in the preview and debug mode. So instead of one link click, we have two link clicks in the preview mode. However, a good thing is that your tag will fire only once. So if I click this one, which came from Google Tag Manager, this tag fired. But if I click the second link click that was dispatched by some internal things of Google Analytics 4, the tag did not fire. And the end result is good because I clicked the link once. So I want to send the event to Google Analytics 4 once. And the end result is exactly this. In fact, if you click on the page title, you can see the summary of what happened to tags in your Google Tag Manager container. Here I can see that this tag never fired on this page, and this tag fired once. If I click this link and this link and this link, then you will see that this menu click tag fired 4 times on that particular page. But here's the thing. When you are debugging individual tags, I would never recommend using the click on a page and then checking what tags fired, or the summary, where you can see the summary of all page views on that particular website. Instead, you should click one event by another and see how those tags are behaving. In fact, you can switch from tags to other tabs to see how the situation is changing in the container and on the website. For example, If I go to variables, I can see all variables that are configured in my Google Tag Manager container, which means all variables that are available in the variables section here. And then I can click and navigate between these events and see how the values are changing. For example, if I go back to tags, I will see that on the first link click, the menu click event fired because this was dispatched by Google Tag Manager. This one came from Google Analytics feature called Enhanced Measurement, and the tag did not fire. So if you go to variables, you can actually see how Google Tag Manager understands whether the Google Tag Manager trigger should fire or not. If you go to link click, the first one, you will see triggers, and this is some internal ID of the trigger that is used by Google Tag Manager. So if an ID looks something like this, then Google Tag Manager knows that the trigger should fire because this one was dispatched by Google Tag Manager. But the second one is just 3. So its structure is different, and Google Tag Manager knows that this link click was displayed here because of Google Analytics 4 Enhanced Measurement. I completely understand that this sounds confusing, and indeed, when I try to explain this topic to beginners, Google Analytics 4 Enhanced Measurement adds some confusion here because of those duplicate events. But let me show you something. If I went to Google Analytics 4, clicked Admin, then Data Streams, Website Data Stream, and then would disable this Enhanced Measurement altogether, and then I would refresh the page. Then you would notice that once I start clicking these links, that duplicate link click in this left sidebar, it will no longer be displayed. So I can click this link, and as you saw, I did 2 link clicks and I have 2 link click events right here. Not 4, but 2. And on both of them, my tags have fired. Here's the fired tag, and here it is as well. Also keep an eye on this status right here, because sometimes tags will be displayed in tags fired, but their status might be not succeeded, but still running, which means that the tag was never properly activated. Then another tab is the data layer. So here you can see how the data was changing when you are clicking various events and what kind of information was pushed. But this is more technical topic, and if you want to learn more about that, I will post a link to a tutorial about data layer, at least the very first steps about this. And if you want to learn much more, because data layer is one of the most important things in Google Tag Manager, I explain that in very great detail in my Google Tag Manager courses. I will also post the links to those courses below the video. Then there is also a consent tab, and this is related to a topic called consent mode, but this goes way beyond the scope of this video and the level of beginners. That's why I will not explain how it works. If you're just starting with Google Tag Manager, you don't need this tab. And then we have errors. So if you're checking your tags and you see some number right here next to errors, go and check it, because there you might find some additional information about why a certain tag didn't fire properly, or maybe you will see some other problems. So definitely keep an eye on this tab right here. But the main 3 where you will be working will be tags, variables, and data layer. Tag Assistant is designed not only to debug Google Tag Manager, but you can also see what kind of requests and data were sent to Google Analytics 4. For example, here in my Google Tag Manager container, I have installed GA4 configuration tag and the event tags. Here they are. And because of that, I started seeing this measurement ID of my GA4 property. If I click it, I can then navigate between pages and see what is happening. If you see the problem like I do here, which is basically I cannot see any requests, that might be happening because you have the GA debugger Chrome extension installed. For some reason, this doesn't work well with the Tag Assistant, aka Preview and Debug mode. So try to go back to your website, then disable the Google Analytics Debugger extension, and let's try again. So now the page has refreshed. I can click this link, maybe some other link, and then I can go back to the Tag Assistant, and hopefully this will be fixed. Unfortunately, for some reason, this is still not working. So another chance would be to completely close the Preview and Debug mode and start it again, while having the debugger extension disabled. Click connect and see if that helps. The page has loaded, it is connected. Now let's go to the Google Analytics 4 measurement ID. And here I can see a little similar events. Right now they aren't identical. Well, not everything. Some things are additionally added by the Google Analytics 4. For example, config is strictly related to Google Analytics 4. So here I can see that one page view was sent. I can click it and I can see what additional data was sent to Google Analytics 4. This is more technical, so beginners will find this overwhelming, but maybe you will find this useful in the future. And if you scroll down, you can also see the event of the sidebar on which this request was sent. So you can click it and then it will be highlighted right here. If I click on the menu link, additional events will be visible right here. So the link click, which is the link click that was dispatched by Google Tag Manager, but when I sent the event, which is menu click, it is visible right here, while I have this Google Analytics measurement ID selected right here. And then I can click here and see what kind of request was sent. We have things such as event name, event parameters, and so on. But let's go back to the main topic, which is debugging Google Tag Manager. So make sure that when you're working with preview and debug mode, you have selected Google Tag Manager ID right here. If you don't see it, it means that Google Tag Manager probably is not installed properly, or maybe there are some other issues. So check again the description of the video in order to learn how to fix preview and debug mode. The last thing that I wanted to mention is when you need some help. So for example, let's say that you're trying to implement something and it doesn't work, and you're looking for some help in forums, maybe communities online. And one of the best ways for you to get help is to actually share this preview mode with others. Because right now, what are you doing here in the preview mode is happening only within the boundaries of your browser. When you're firing these tags, if they haven't been published yet, they are not being activated for your visitors. They are activated only for you in your browser. So if you want to share this kind of preview mode with others, maybe you are looking for help, then click three dots right here while having the preview mode enabled, and then click share. Then make sure that you select Google Tags plus your Google Tag Manager container. If you select this option, it will not share the Google Tag Manager preview mode. So make sure that this is always selected. And then this link will be generated. Copy this link and share it with another person from whom you want to get help. And if I click this and, for example, go to the incognito mode and then open it, I will be able to start that debugging process once again by clicking this connect button. And if you want to stop debugging, you have several options here. First of all, could be to just close these two tabs, or actually all tabs related to the preview and debug mode. Then the other option could be to click finish here. And the third option could be to click this X icon right here. There are some additional things, but they are more technical and they're not important in this context, and it's enough for you to know these three options. Now you know how to work with the preview and debug mode. If you found this video useful, hit the thumbs up button below the video. That will help me understand what videos do you like and what should I create in the future. Also, if you want to learn more about Google Tag Manager or Google Analytics 4, then consider subscribing to this channel. My name is Julius, this is Analytics Mania, and I'll see you in the next video.